And as soon as I see the ticker come in, I'm pretty sure that we are in fact going to be, yes, it looks like we're 6 seconds in. Good morning, everybody. It's 10:15, our new time. And it just tweeted that we went out. And today is the 9th. It's Friday, Friyay. We are back. We're missing one. It is Bald Guys Only today. The guy with the hair, he's got to go places elsewhere. So it's Scott Marshall and me. Scott, Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. And how are you on this Friyay?
Friyay's treating me right. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but I still feel pretty good, and I don't know when that's going to end. And it'll probably be abruptly, and I'll fall asleep on the couch the moment I get home. But you know what? I'm gonna ride it out. So far, so good. I've had at least one coffee, so I'm living that caffeine high. No, it's good. It's Friday. I'm also in different attire today. I wanted to bring attention to the fact that I'm wearing a chief ceremonial shirt. I used to be a member of the chief ceremonial unit, and it's a unit that Detective Constable Jeff Northrup was a member of. I was a court officer. He was a court officer, and unfortunately, last week he was killed in the line of duty. This is the last working day for me that I can do something before his funeral to honor him. So I'm wearing this shirt and thinking of him. So, it's very sad. But Monday there's going to be a funeral, and we won't be having a show on Monday because of that. So I wanted to get out there. Before we jump into our chat, I wanted to talk about Vision Zero. Vision Zero enforcement team goes out through the city, and they augment the great work being done by officers all over the place to reduce serious injuries and death by way of educating people through enforcement. They are the team that focuses on driving behaviors that lead to serious injury and death on our roadways. And those behaviors are speeding, aggressive driving, distracted driving, and impaired driving. And they are out there doing amazing work every single day. And today, they're going to be in 11 Division and 43 Division. So as we often say, if you don't want to meet any one of them, make sure you're following the rules, because there's no breaks. There's no excuses. There's no finger wagging. There will be tickets issued. The take no prisoners approach to changing hearts and minds. And for the people who think that we're in it for the money, I can tell you there's no free toaster for writing the most tickets. But what we do see are people leaving with the ticket and possibly being affected and changing their behavior. And that's really what it's all about. So if you don't want to get a ticket, don't drive with against the rules.
The best thing is if they actually get a ticket and realize, I screwed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a great, I talk about these guys all the time, the Traffic Accident Commission Transport Accident Commission out of Australia. They do tremendous work. I wish we had videos playing here, but I think people would complain because they're quite graphic. They really do cause you to think. And I played one of these videos at a presentation recently, and someone got up and was ill because they saw it. And it wasn't graphic, it wasn't gory, but it made you think about what would happen if you hit a kid. And it was quite interesting to see. And what was the point of this? The point is we should watch these videos. They're amazing. They say that the end of that video was the lucky ones get caught. That's what I was going with.
Yeah,
the lucky ones get caught. And think about it. If you get caught speeding and you get that horrible feeling and you spend $600 for using your phone and lose your license for a few days and you have a generally miserable experience, maybe you won't do it again. Oh my goodness, we got a whole bunch of action here. I'm going to throw up the chat room. Everyone who's chatted already their stuff's not showing up on screen, but I will bring those comments up and start off with Amanda McDonald saying, "Hey y'all." Then we got. Let's see here. Tassos obviously responding. Maybe I'll get it in the correct order. Hello, Emma. It's Emma's birthday today. Just saying.
Emma's birthday today?
So Emma is a moderator. She helps us out on TikTok. She helps mute conversation that is disruptive or offensive, and there's a lot of that. So we have people who like us, and we have people that don't. And when people come out and are offensive or rude or spamming the chat, Emma is one of the fine folks that helps us moderate, and it's her birthday. And on TikTok this morning, we sang her happy birthday. We had all the moderators come into a Zoom call, and we ported that into TikTok, just like we get the Jerry Agar show on TikTok. And there you go. So happy birthday, Emma.
Didn't Emma have a birthday last year?
I had heard that. So were we wrong to recognize her this year?
I don't know. Happy birthday, Emma.
Yes, absolutely. This is here we go. We got the man, the myth, the legend, Scott Marshall himself.
Where?
It's there. The fact that you've got a fan base on our show is amazing.
Yeah, and it's not a family member. So, well, obviously my family members wouldn't be a fan. So,
Right, right.
they get me
But
for free.
we got Big Bug Halls says, "How are you all today?" We're doing well. I'm doing well. I got no complaints.
I've got no complaints. If you have complaints and you tell them, no one listens to you anyway. So,
This is true. Well, let's get into the show. We've got lots of stuff to talk about. It's pretty casual because Brandon's not here. He's helping to set up for Monday's funeral, and I'm left trying to figure out how to do what he does while doing what I do. So we'll see how it goes. But
Right.
he sent us a list because even when he's not here, he is.
Here.
He even though he's not here, he prepared for his absence. And by the way, with his hair, is the hair part?
No, he's always here. He's in
Oh,
my
he's always
head.
here. Oh, I see. Well, he noodled in there, and he did it by sending us an email, which I didn't read until you told me he sent it, and that was a couple of speaking points, things to chat about, and I think they're really good. So the question is, the first topic is driving tired. Is it impaired?
Yeah, it is. You think about impaired driving, you think about alcohol and drugs. But the standard dictionary definition of impaired is to make worse by lessening strength, value, quality, and quantity to damage. So that's a standard dictionary definition. So, and I got it memorized.
No
So,
kidding.
yeah, I know, right? So when you are tired, when when you're not your normal self, let's say, being a drowsy driver is your mind's not on what you're doing. Your thought process. You're not on the driving environment. Your reaction times are almost gone. So it is an impairment. And but there are solutions. And some of the myths about drowsy driving is cold air, like they put on the AC,
Mhm.
put the music up loud, and even have conversation with the passenger if you have a passenger. And what they are is and caffeine too, and cheers to that. So they're short-term solutions for drowsy driving. The real solution for if you're feeling tired is to have a nap. And if you can power nap, I can power nap. I can do 15 minutes and I feel great. Pull over into a safe place away from the edge of the road and have a snooze, lock your door, make sure it's a well-lit area if it's at night, and have a little cat nap and wake up refreshed, and then you can drive again.
I will say that side of the highway is not a safe place. The shoulder is not a good place to stop, even for a moment. If you're not absolutely required to because your car is disabled, don't choose that as a napping point. A, it's illegal; you could be ticketed. But more is that it's dangerous. Impaired drivers lose control. Accidents happen. Well, they're collisions, not accidents, but
Right.
you could be seriously injured. And if you are going to be in your car and you are stopped waiting for roadside service, leave your seatbelt on. That's a lesser known tip. Even when, as police officers, sit in the car on the highway, we're waiting for something to happen, a tow truck to arrive. I got my seatbelt on because people run into cars that are stopped on the highway. So, but the napping thing, this is impaired by fatigue, and yeah, those short-term solutions are great for that. But that does not mean it's a solution for impaired by drug or impaired by alcohol. That's not a sleep it off in your car for a few minutes. In fact, that could land you in handcuffs.
That's right.
You're still in control of that vehicle. You're still considered, responsible criminally if you're over the limit at that point. So it's a fine line. Can you be arrested for impaired driving if you're tired? Well, if we pull you over because you're all over the road and you're not, your head is bobbing, we're going to arrest you for impaired driving because it could be drugs. We don't know that it's because you're tired. That's not normal behavior. So we're going to make a demand, and we're going to have you tested by a drug recognition expert if we think it's drugs. If you happen to smell like alcohol, maybe we'll have you provide breath samples. There's a lot of things, but simply saying no, I didn't drink, I didn't consume drugs, but I'm just really tired. It's not going to cut it. You're still going to get arrested for driving in a behavior that leads us to believe that you are impaired.
Yeah, and one of the things, just fatigue and drowsy are a little bit different. Fatigue often it's more than just being tired that you want to sleep. If you're drowsy, you want some sleep. That's really what it is. But a fatigue driver means you kind of burnt yourself out for the week, and your reaction time, your decision making, it's all different. It's all impaired. Slow reactions and all of this stuff. So when you know that you're just not yourself, before you head home, if you've had a busy day, a busy week, have a little nap before you pull out.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Amanda McDonald, one of our fine auxiliaries here at Traffic Services,
Yes.
who we miss dearly because our auxiliaries are currently not in their normal capacity. They're not they're not able to come into stations all because of the pandemic. But we look forward to having them back soon. But Amanda contributes in so many ways. One of the ways is by great comments, but also as a moderator on TikTok. So Amanda says Walmart parking lots are always a great option. Can spend the night there too. In the States, they even say bring your motorhomes and park here. I don't know if that's the same in Canada, but they are very open to keeping people safe and making it a welcoming place. So that's amazing. And thank you very much for the suggestion, Amanda.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely. It all goes at we have a funny theme whenever we talk about choices and being late and speeding. They all come back down to one thing, and you said it just a moment ago, and it's planning. If you're planning your day, if you know what's going to be, whether you're planning to get good sleep, or you're planning to leave on time, or you're planning to eat a meal, or you're planning not to drink, that plan is what's going to keep you safe. And it's so overlooked. It's such a simple thing, and it's overlooked.
One of the things, and you're absolutely right, Sean, but one of the things is, as a parent of newborns, and you don't get a lot of sleep, and I have twins at home, so they'd wake up every 2 hours each, but basically it was every hour. So there's times that you're burning on like 2 hours of sleep, and then that's it. And by the end of the day, you are tired. So
Yeah.
change your plan, and you're better off being home 30 minutes later than trying to push it and falling asleep at the wheel. And falling asleep at the wheel, watch carefully. That's it. That's all it's going to take for you to rear end another vehicle, get off the road, injure yourself or somebody else.
Very often that's something we talk about as micro sleeps, where you think you're fine, but something happens. You caught yourself in that split moment. You don't actually know how much space or distance you've traveled during that micro sleep because you were out.
Yeah.
You are effectively not there. And it's something that people, usually it's a second or third nod that they're saying, okay, maybe. But the first nod, you've already gone past the point of too tired or truly, totally dangerous. You shouldn't be there at that point. If you get that impression, pull off, do the right thing. Keep yourself safe because late is better than not at all. And we've been seeing an increased, we have a tremendous number of deaths on our roads. Already, we've seen people, and we don't know the exact reason, but we had someone over the weekend who ran a red light. Did they run a red light because they nodded off? I don't know. Unfortunately, we can't ask him because he didn't survive the collision. Then we have someone who was on a motorcycle, didn't navigate a turn. In fact, I haven't read the whole thing, but I know that they hit a pole after losing control of their motorcycle. Well, we can't ask them what happened either. We don't know if they were tired, but we can extrapolate and believe that there are potential things that would have went wrong. And, we want everyone to arrive alive. And it's not just about alcohol and drugs. We got a couple of comments here, following along the lines of the Walmart suggestion. We've spent a night in our trailer at Walmart, met 2 other families, and had a nice barbecue. So there's a potential of meeting good people in Walmart parking lots. So, yeah.
I'm going there for lunch. I'm going to go find a barbecue in a motorhome.
What I miss most are the $2 hot dogs at another vendor that has parking lots, but I don't know what they have a feeling of me sleeping there. I'm a member though, so maybe they would let me. Let's see here. Back in 1970, 71, I took a driving course that was endorsed by the Toronto Police Service. Is this still a thing? That's from Arthur Highland. I'm not aware of any driving courses that are endorsed other than the fact that we suggest people get professional training and maybe not rely on friends and family to teach. Because I'll tell you that I tried to teach my wife to drive. It didn't go so well. She didn't appreciate me telling her. And it was maybe because it's a traffic cop, and maybe it's a traffic cop who gets on the internet and tells everybody how to drive. And maybe that's not the right kind of pressure to put on somebody.
Yeah, and just because we drive doesn't mean that we know all the rules. We may have changed some thoughts over the years in our head, and we're giving out poor advice, and we haven't broken it down. I remember someone had asked me how many steps. Actually, it was Andrew from the host of Canada's Worst Driver had asked how many steps are there to make a turn, like 4, and I said, how about 10? And when you break it down, there's actually 10 steps to make a turn, and that doesn't even include checking your mirror or the intersection. So yeah, so letting a professional give them the advice is always a good idea.
Yeah, and you know, and there's two ways to go. Either you're going to be more critical of someone when you're teaching them and your family, because I know I tell people how it is because they're my family. They got to like me at the end. I can just tell them what it is. You suck. You need to work on this. Whereas I might be really politically correct with someone who's a stranger. So, but vice versa. If my wife, I would never tell her that because she would kill me. So I might not tell her about some of the things that I would have critiqued. 'Cause I don't want her to feel bad or beat me up. So one of the two. Either way, a professional driver is going to be diplomatic, is able to give direction without the bias and without possibly the hurt, because they're seen as a professional, where you're just being mean old dad. So lots of things to think about when discussing whether or not to teach someone you love and want them to still love you at the end. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of comments that just came in. If you had, okay, so this is a good question. If you have one too many at the bar, can you sleep it off in the driver's seat of your car in the bar's parking lot? And the answer is no. You can be arrested for doing that. You are in control of that vehicle. There's nothing to say that you wouldn't wake up 20 minutes later and decide to put it in drive and go home still impaired. And yeah, no, you cannot do that. You will likely end up arrested.
Yeah, it's still a criminal charge for care and control. So
they've blended it now. There's no care and control separate, but it's now under one thing. But it used to be called care and control, and at the end of the day, it's bad. You don't want that. You don't need that in your life. But it is. We appreciate the intention, but it doesn't go there. Big Bug Hall says, "Is it illegal to make Toronto cars on video games?" I think it's really cool. I can't tell you whether or not it's legal. I'm going to assume it's not because you're using the trademarked or copywritten logo and whatnot. But at the same time, you're not selling it. I imagine you're just doing it for your own entertainment. You might be okay. Is it an artistic interpretation? You'd have to talk to our legal team. Maybe just don't publish it. But moving right along, we got a question from so Brian Mills, one of our Facebook fans, and a friend. I know who Brian is. Something to consider is that you may have sleep apnea as well if you're tired all the time. I discovered that I have sleep apnea when my workplace moved farther and increased my driving distance. I would nod off on the drive home and end up seeing ... Is there okay? He says it here. He would end up seeing the. What is it? I increased my... Wow, he's got a lot going on here. I would nod off on the drive home and ended up seeing the doctor as it was freaking me out. And then he was diagnosed with sleep apnea.
So if you've changed your diet, part of the things is fatty foods also create that drowsiness later in the day. Sitting down, just not getting the blood flowing as well is a good idea to do that. So I have a fair commute myself to go home, and before I leave, I do a couple of laps up and down the hall just to get the blood flowing because I am sitting as well, and that does help. And if it does, Brian is correct. Go see your doctor if you're having concerns about it, because you might have sleep apnea or any other medical issue that's going to create this drowsiness on a regular basis, and you need your sleep, really, is what's happening.
Sleep deprivation is huge. When you mentioned being a parent and having sleepless nights, when my first daughter was born, I had my first departmental collision. I took the mirror off a police car. Well, I didn't take it right off, but I did take the mirror part that was reflective. It flew out because I looked down for a second when I was navigating in our parking lot at 3 kilometers an hour. So it was I was really sleep deprived, and it took me that experience to really understand what was going on and what the effects were. But I can tell you, it's the last time that sort of thing happened because sleep became the priority. I planned it, and everyone was on board except the baby that was crying. Let's see here. We have a quick question from Henry about do traffic officers only use 2021 Ford Explorers? So, no, we still have some Crown Victorias, although very few left over. We have a few Tauruses, although a few left over. Majority of our fleet has become Ford Explorers, not all 2021, mind you, but we do we have a lifespan that they go through. But there's other vehicles because we have officers that are part of our Vision Zero enforcement team, and they have some cool stuff. They have some pickup trucks, they have some Acadias that are unmarked. They blend in real nice, and yeah, they are not Explorers. But thanks for the question. That's cool. Let's see here. Okay, here's a question that Tassos, who is one of our friends and a moderator on TikTok, he's also an insurance magician. He's an underwriter for an insurance company. But let's see here. There's a quick question on TikTok. Maybe you can answer here. G1 driver with a G licensed passenger that is being distracted on their phone or just not paying attention. Are there any consequences, or is this okay? That is a really good question. Thanks for bringing it forward.
It is a good question. It's never okay. The purpose of the G driver is not just to warm the seat while the G1 driver drives. They're another set of eyes. There's another set of eyes to say, okay, stop, okay, go, don't go, whatever the case is. So if they're on their phone, they're not able to assist, and something serious could happen, like a collision or a traffic violation, and they're there to protect you. And I can just imagine the voice of the G1 driver who gets pulled over and yelling at their passenger saying, why didn't you tell me? And so if you are sitting beside and you've got the 4 years experience and you are currently a G or a higher licensed driver, keep your phone on silent and put it in your pocket. Just, you got a job to do, or just don't do the job.
Well, that's it. And you think about this. If you are driving, you're a G1, and your supervising driver is impaired, in fact, not even impaired. Well, any impairment is a long story, but if they're over a BAC of 0.05, which is not a criminal charge, but it would prevent you from driving a vehicle. Well, if they're the supervising driver and they have alcohol in their system over that limit, they're not a supervising driver. You cannot be supervising when you're impaired. So if you're impaired by your cell phone effectively, if it's not a charge, it should be one, and maybe we should write some letters. Well, then people are going to hate me. So let's see that now. People. Oh, this is. We've talked about this a lot. Right of ways at intersection, right of ways at four-way stops, and I love the fact that you say right of. It's given, not taken. I like that a lot, and it goes through my head now because talk about getting the bug in my brain. It's you. I hear your voice all the time, but
there's medication for that actually.
Well, yeah. Well, there are serious problems because I get to when I'm in my own car. There's a level of confusion at four-way stops. People are just looking at each other funny. Nobody wants to go. Nobody knows. There's a lot of waving going on because people don't want to make any moves. Have we all forgotten how to drive?
Right of way confuses a lot of people, licensed drivers and unlicensed, like the novice. I wrote a piece a few weeks ago on my blog about right of way, and which can help. But I think if people realize that right of way is a courtesy law, and it's not something that you can just change because you want to change. First come, first serve, and if it's a tie, the driver to the right. And those are your two basic. The difference is that if it's not, even if it's not an all-way, if you and I are stopped opposite one another and I got there first, but I want to turn left, I should be allowed to go first because first come, first serve, even though I'm turning left.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter the direction that someone's going if they're on your right, if you stop at the same time. Doesn't matter if they want to go left, straight, or right. They're on your right, they should be allowed to go first. And I keep using they should be allowed, meaning that's up to you to let them. And if you don't let them, your car might block them, and which means you're in a collision.
Yeah, and collisions are not fun, and there's consequences aside from slowing you down. People are always in a rush. I see very, very often a lot of the offenses that we observe as police officers are people who are either not being courteous or they got somewhere important to be, and it's taking priority. So what is the deal? What do we do there? Well, if you take Scott's suggestion or advice, and I love this, it's give the right of way. Be a giving person, because really you have the power, and it's a powerful position to say, after you. So being kind, courteous, and not getting into a collision. And this goes into segues into something else. Very often we see drivers that we say are going too slow or driving a little dangerously. Maybe I want to get away from them. Well, do you want to get away from them in front of them or behind them? My opinion is I want them to be ahead of me so I know where they are. I want to keep, that keep your friends close, your enemies closer. I want to know where that poor driver is because I don't want them running into me.
I would agree with that. You can see what they're doing. The person who's in a hurry, I don't want them behind me because often they're going to tailgate, and that's a whole other pet peeve of mine. But yeah, and you know what? Even right of way, it's like a 5 second. What are you going to do with those 5 seconds that you lost? You're not going to be able to cut the grass. You can't make dinner. So let the 5 seconds go.
And at the end of the day, we talked about this a lot. We all get there at the same time. All these people who are racing light to light, we end up at the next light and we're 1 or 2 car lengths. There's no real win here. And of course, I do appreciate when they end up being pulled over and I pass them and they're stuck for 30 minutes as they get a ticket. But that's another story.
Yeah, that's karma. That's quite the, yeah.
Yeah. Henry wants to know, what do you guys think of the new light bars? Are they better or worse than the new ones? Have you seen the new light bars?
No.
So we have, as a result of some hard work from some fantastic people in our fleet services section, people that I'm very fond of because they keep us moving. They are really the unsung heroes of the Toronto Police. They make sure that our vehicles are working, that they are safe, that they're safe for us, that they're safe, when we're transporting people. There's so much that goes in, and they don't get the credit they deserve. But one of the things that just came out recently are brand new light bars, and they are I think they're the best and the brightest and the most magical light bars ever. They're super, super LED bright. They're very high. They're very tall. They're extremely visible. The chief loves them. I saw the chief yesterday. He was raving about them. They're really cool. And I think they're way better than the new ones. The old ones were pretty old. They were really noisy. Not that should make a difference for you, but when you turn them on, you hear, it just drive you crazy. So, because the motors were going, these are like silent and they still spin even though they're LEDs. I like them a lot. So, serious question. What is this? Okay, here's a serious question. I have a serious question. My dad has a huge issue. He will not get off his phone while driving. What is the best way to scare him to stop using him while driving? I think you mean using it while driving, but what do you think?
Okay, so the old saying, it's more difficult to argue with yourself than it is with somebody else. So you have to sell it to him. So if he's on his phone and he's looking down at his phone, count out loud while they're doing that. So that way, like 1001, 1002, 1003, until they look up. And then let's say it got to 5 seconds, which is a pretty typical glancing down at a text message, and say, all right, now Dad, while we're driving down the street, I want you to close your eyes for 5 seconds. And Dad's going to say, no, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't see what's going on. Exactly. Same thing then with your phone. You're looking down for 5 seconds. You're not seeing what's going on. Try that if you can. And it's the sell it, don't tell it, instead of saying stop it. And many people say, oh, I can multitask. Really? You don't have eyes up here. You really don't. And you're looking down at your phone. Your crotch is not that exciting to look at all the time. So look out the windshield, look in the mirrors, look in your side. You've got to have your eyes on the driving environment, at least for those 5 seconds, not on your phone for 5 seconds.
I've been going out and doing these presentations to new drivers, new military drivers. I've gone to a couple of different bases, and it's been amazing for me to be able to contribute to the military, the fine folks who wear uniforms to defend our freedoms. So thank you to the military. If you've served, if you're going to serve, thank you for your service. But we talk about travel time. How fast or how far do you travel in a second? Because people say, well, it's nothing. I'm just looking down for a second. Well, how long, if you're doing 60 kilometers an hour, how far do you travel in that second? And my understanding is it's roughly 30 meters. Does that sound right? I'm going to go with it's right. I think it's about right. It's in change. So 5 seconds, multiply that by 30, and a lot happens when you're not paying attention. It's scary.
I use the CFL football field from back of end zone to back of end zone, so it's about the same distance. For 5 seconds, you're traveling that distance basically with your eyes closed.
Yeah, it's you wouldn't do it with your eyes closed, so you shouldn't do it with a cell phone. Enjoy the drive. Put your phone away. Life is too short. What is it? Slow down. Enjoy the drive. It can be a very zen experience if you let it.
Yes.
What is this? Do you have a picture of a license plate blurred out of the unmarked VZET pickup truck? It sounds really cool. You know what? If you go onto our Twitter feed, you'll see all sorts of pictures of it. We were posting it daily for like a year. Of the it's just it's a Ram. It's black. There's nothing special or until the lights are on. But I don't have any pictures of it with the lights on. But they're not secrets. They're out there. We'll see if we can put something up on the Instagram, and then you can play Where is Waldo and see if you can find any of those officers. We had another topic that he mentioned, and it's sort of, I think we've covered it already. He talks about medication and driving, insulin, cannabis, etc. He also talks about, or this is Brandon's suggestion, creating space using the path of least resistance. That's interesting.
Yeah, so people who are in a hurry, things like that. It's like I want to go, and people who are weaving in and out of traffic, they're trying to get get to the beginning of the line, so to speak. But if you're driving in a lane that is the lane that gives you, I just did a dance.
You move well now. The name makes more sense. Before it was me that's Scott Marshall. Now it's you that's Scott Marshall, and I think you look
the
better.
Real Scott Marshall, please stand up.
Yes.
So if you drive in a lane that gives you the best view, the best flow, and the least risk, that is the path of least resistance. And for years as an instructor, I'm always teaching people to choose the lane that does that. Yes, you have a driving lane. Yes, you have a passing lane, but it's okay to pass. It's okay to change lanes, not the weaving back and forth. But if traffic is slowing ahead of you, change lanes before you have to slow down. You're looking ahead. Just because the driver in front doesn't brake yet, you see brake lights, they're going to. Change lanes if you can. Be proactive with it. And there's many times I don't even touch my brake pedal because I'm changing lanes smoothly early. I'm slowing down gradually, so just by easing off the gas, and I'm going to get better fuel economy. And my mentality as a driver is sharp because it makes me more aware of the space around me. So I'm actually Waldo. You got to find me.
There you go. You bring up something. You remind me of something else. The slow down, move over law. We post about that on a regular basis. And someone made a comment and said, "Well, what if I can't slow down and move over because they're there and it was really quick?" And that talks about eye lead. That talks about looking far enough into the future to not predict what might happen, but react in advance of what is happening. Again, planning ahead. You see those lights off in a distance, something's going on. Start making making changes now, so it's not a last minute change. And people say, "Well, what if they don't let me in?" Well, what do you do, Scott? They don't want to let me in.
Well, first off, even if you don't see the emergency vehicle at the side, but you see everybody else moving over, you don't have to know why. You should just do it first. You're going to find out why just after that. And if you do it early, put your signal on. Don't do the telepathic turn signal where you're thinking about changing lanes. Put it on, and maybe someone will let you in. You'd be surprised what happens.
And don't be that person who says, "I see a straight shot of like 16 car lengths where everyone has already done the right thing and moved over, but now there's an opportunity to race up to the front and cut in later." Not only do you make everyone hate you, but you're actually contributing to additional time in traffic. You're slowing everybody down.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of it is there's a zipper merge where you're blending in as a zipper. If you think about how that fastens up, and moving in and cooperating with the other traffic is a good thing. But part of that's the signaling. Part of that is giving them space, and then there's the old standard. Hey, thanks for letting me in. It goes a long way just by saying thanks. This morning I let a few people in, including truck drivers, and they do their hazard lights to say thanks. You're welcome. I'll do it again.
Kindness is a great thing. Recognizing kindness is even better. We don't say thank you to one another nearly enough. We don't give that wave out the window, especially when it's raining and crappy. I like to roll down my window and wave. I don't like to just flash the hand in the back because I don't know if they've actually seen it. I want to show appreciation when someone's being kind and encourage them to do it again. Scott Marshall, you are the safe driver. You're available on Twitter where you post constantly, and you have a blog.
I do.
It's thesafedriver.ca. And in fact, I'm preparing a post using your hot cars post. And the reason I'm preparing, I'm going to link to you. I'm going to just fair warning, people may click your blog as a result of a post I'm making. And it's because we're going to be talking to the SPCA on Tuesday. We have no show on Monday. Monday's the next day in line for shows normally. So it is Tuesday, the SPCA. We're going to have a representative coming in. We're going to talk about cars and animals and transporting, not only hot cars, but we're going to be talking about just transporting safely your pets, because there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just let Rover run around in the car while you drive around, at least not if you want to be safe. So we're going to go into some detail with the pros about keeping your four-legged friends happy and safe. And in fact, it applies to some of your two-legged friends too.
Yeah.
So
make it into your pet peeve. Yeah.
Now, there's something we haven't talked about, Scott. We have a podcast. It's a podcast that I listen to. I listened to it again this morning. It's Speed Bumps, the safe driving podcast.
Yeah. So 43 episodes so far, doing it every week on a Sunday. You can actually find it on my blog as well, if you're interested. And it's it's on an audio one. So it's great to listen at lunch while you're chowing down.
Yeah, it's 15 minutes. Maybe, and people have said that your voice is very calming. Maybe it'll help you get that cat nap if you need a nap because you're overtired.
Yeah, so I do public speaking, I do announcing, whatever, and I was called the smooth jazz voice one year. So, you're listening to Sean. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, as always, Scott, it's been a pleasure. Thanks so much for joining us. It's been weird not having Brandon in the middle with the hair.
Yeah, I kind of miss him, but don't tell him that, because you don't want his head getting bigger, then his hair gets bigger.
Yeah. Well, the weather is not cooperating. So we saw he was in front of the chief, and he looked in the mirror afterwards, and like two hairs were out of place, and he had some palpitations. He was a little concerned. We were talking about going live and bringing him in just because we didn't want to be without him, but he's like actively working out on the road, preparing for his event.
He's really working, is what you're saying.
For the first time in a long time. No, you know what? I got to tell you, Brandon is a go-getter. He is a high energy guy. If you look at him, you know that he's ripped. He's a gym guy, and that goes into his work ethic. Here, he does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. Really appreciate him and really notice him when he's not here. So thank you for all you do. And I'm on my own next week because he's on vacation next week. So I'm nervous.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. Next time you see me, maybe we'll get the Sergeant Kraft to co-host, just so we're not, won't be weird.
Yeah.
It's just us.
Yeah. I follow Sergeant Kraft on Twitter.
He's a good guy. He's not a bad boss. So with that, I'm going to go try and convince Sergeant Kraft to be my co-host for next week. So you don't have to just look at us and hopefully next Friday we can do this again.
Yeah. Thanks for letting me sleep in. I got my beauty sleep. I appreciated that.
This late start is not a bad thing. And if you think this is a good thing, if you're watching, make sure you to let us know. Send us a message. Tell us that you approve of 10:15. It's our summer hours. It's going to be that way anyway. But we like to hear confirmations of good things. Let us know. If you're not already following us, you can get us on. Let me see if I can scroll to actually say where we are. Oh, look at that. Here's the button. You can follow us on Twitter at Traffic Services. If you are interested in the Instagram-y kind of conversation, you can get us on Instagram at Traffic Services Toronto. We are on YouTube, and all of these shows are the archive of, I don't even know how many we've done, but they're all on YouTube, and you can get them there to spend hours and hours of watching us yabber on. Traffic Services Toronto Police. It's which?
A gazillion.
A gazillion. I like that. Well, I actually posted something on my my voiceover cop TikTok, which is my sort of behind the scenes page, and I've suggested that I may have 7 million unread messages on TikTok. I have a lot of messages that I need to get to. And if you want to send me messages, you can send us messages at Traffic Services at Toronto Police. That's our general email. Actually, that's good for general. But you know what? Even better, you can get us at Traffic Safety Programs at torontopolice.on.ca. I got all these buttons. I can press them all. Look at that. Thank you, everyone. It's been a blast. We will see you next week on Tuesday. And hope you have a safe and happy weekend. If you're going to be driving, drive sober, no drugs, no alcohol, and get some sleep. Take it easy, and thanks again, Scott.
Thanks for the questions.
Yes, the chat group. You know what? I say goodbye and then I say hello. Is there anything here? Are they saying goodbye? No, they're just having they are having a good time talking amongst themselves, and to them I say goodbye as well.